Okay, before I go any further, just so you know, there's more tools for woodworking than the adze, right? There's such a thing as a hafted stone bladed knife. Okay, this is very similar to a crooked knife. Okay, I don't use it in this way. I prefer to use it overhand. And let's see, because I can already see in the comments that there's probably a lot of people thinking that the adze is great for bow building, but the hafted stone blade is much better in the form of a crooked knife for bow making than an adze. Okay, now let's see if I can get this on video without cutting myself. This is just an opportunistic, fortunate stone blade, right? No modifications except for this part that I put into the pith of the elk antler. All right, but for shaving wood, this type of thing, this type of knife is better than the adze blade. So you can use it underhanded like this. I put a couple of wood shims in there because the hole was a little bit too big. But this will allow you cleaner shavings, especially on green wood. This is tough. I believe it is elm, seasoned elm. Okay, you can use it like this as well, but for some reason this messes with my wrist when I use it this way. Maybe I need to cut it down a bit. This is one of my old mallets. It still can be used as a mallet because this does not affect it. Just that little hole drilled does not ruin my mallet. But as you can see, if I can get this to stay in frame, you'd be working with a much longer piece, of course, and I can probably anchor it to something on the other end. And when you anchor it, you can get much better shavings. And like I said, especially on green wood, but you can work dry wood as well. And this usually takes the form of a curved flake, a long blade, and you just insert it into a handle with a groove in it, wrap it, or just pound it into a hole in the pith of an antler, right? Like I'm doing now. Either way. And it's just like a knife, right? As long as you don't break the tool, as long as this flake is substantially thick. Now, what if you don't have large stones to create these flakes from? Well, you're not going to be able to make this knife, of course. There are other ways to do it with shorter blades, and you don't need a big long blade like this. This was just an unmodified flake. It happened to be this long, but it can be shorter. And I'm doing this quickly, but you can see, I'm going to show you the cleanness of the cuts. So you don't have to go back and do very much modification. You don't have to go back and be sanding and scraping all day. See if we can take down some of this previous adze and flake type of scarring on the wood. You're going to get little striations, but they're not going to be very deep. See those little striations? They're not deep, they're easy to remove, relatively speaking, compared to the, this is a fine edge compared to the more coarse edge of the adze working end. It's a lot more lumpy than the blade. And what happens when the blade gets dinged or dulled? Just replace it. How do you replace it? Well, you either unwrap the wrappings or you just loosen this. Okay, that's it. See what I did? It's just friction fit. See, I prefer overhand because then it doesn't affect my wrist. As soon as I start twisting it in this direction, I get that pain down there. I messed up my wrist somehow when I was doing carpentry work. And you drag it like this if you want. You can push it. If you have a backing on the blade, you can push. All right, let's see. You can push on this. Now, it's not as good as a steel blade. Because you cannot be prying too much. It'll chip the blade if you pry on it. So you just have to push and avoid the prying motion. I know it's not easy to avoid that motion, but if you want some precise carving, you can do the minute precise carving. This comes in handy especially on nocks on arrows. But I'll be showing you all this. I just want to get a jump on the comments for the adze. The adze is good for some things, but I'm not going to say that it's excellent for bow building, okay? I prefer to use scrapers and knives on bows. Now, it can be used for rough shaping of the stave. I'm not going to dispute that. But for the shaping and the tillering, I'm not going to be smacking it with the adze, because you know how it goes when you got a bow that's starting to bend and you're hitting it with a hatchet or an adze. It bounces, right? You need something during the final stages that'll remove a lot of material without creating a lot of tool marks, and do it quickly. Right now I'm just showing you the very similar tactic to using a steel knife. It can be done with a stone knife. I'm going to be hafting the stone into a handle, but I'm just going to get this out of the way first. It only took me like 5 minutes to make this tool with a blade that I found in my debitage. My mallet, I took the drill, I drilled out that hole to roughly match. I kind of napped this. I napped this end down roughly. Put a couple of wood shims in there. And that's it. It does get loose. I probably could put another shim in the back there. Let's see. Just take these little pieces of wood and jam them in there. And then bend them over and cut them off. Where is it? Is that, that's not it. Where's my other blade? That's not it either, but this might work. Anyway, this takes forever, but you get the idea. It always takes longer on film than in real life. And that's the opposite of what you want. You want to be able to film it quickly. But there you go. Carving nocks into the end of the bow. Shaving the limbs of the bow when tillering. All that stuff. I prefer a blade like this. And not an adze or a saw or something. Okay? I prefer to slice through using a blade. But I'll be making a crooked knife, an actual crooked knife. On video as well, but not until after I explore a lot of the adze type of tasks. Okay? I will be making a crooked knife, probably smaller than this. This is too big for me. All right? That's it.